Bitcoin again. I just want to clarify that we are in a downtrend here, despite my prediction that this might be the bottom. And of course, my prediction that it might be the bottom is just 25%. So, and the reason for that is that we are still in a bear trend. You can on the weekly. So you have a low here, lower high here, and a lower low here. And this hasn't been broken yet. The major point to break for this would be, of course, up here. Now, I think this is somewhat notable level because honestly, it's even this level is not that notable because you can draw it here, you can draw it here. I'm just going to take this out for now. I'm going to move it up here rather and take this one out. So until we break this previous weekly high at 10,500, there's really not a lot to say about Bitcoin breaking out of this bear trend. But nonetheless, we have these two diagonals. We have the 618 fib, we have the 50 and the 100 MA, and you can't really see the volume profile. Oh, here we see it much more clearly. That in this sort of zone, it does come down to the 6,000 admittedly, so we could very easily see another move down before going up. And again, that's why I say 25%, because it's really hard to say that when we're in a bear trend that we're out of it yet. If anything, we should assume that this bear trend will continue. That being said, if we zoom out a bit and look at the monthly, this was the first indication of a really bearish move on the monthly. If you sort of go here, we have high, low, consolidation, and then high, higher, low, higher, higher, high, higher, low, and we just kept on moving up. And then here we had a lower low. And honestly, it's even, I don't call this a bear trend because we came down, we consolidated, and we moved down. It wasn't like we came down and we had this structure like this. This wasn't. Let's just let's draw it like this. So this is a bear trend, right? And at what point in this chart has the monthly done that? It's never done it, right? What happened over here was that we saw a move like this, and then it was consolidating, and then it came down. So we had a move down, consolidation, and another move down, which to me just looks much more like one leg down. Here, of course, we have a potential lower high over here forming, but even that needs to be confirmed by the break of 3,200. So on the monthly, we're looking still pretty bullish, but we're in this sort of major consolidation zone where we had this explosive move up. Now we kind of took out most of it on the way down. Interesting to note that we bounced off the 21 here. We might see another move down to the 21 moving average here, which also coincides or might coincide with the weekly 200 moving average. So it's absolutely possible that, yeah, that was 4,500. This is about 5,000. Really possible that we see some serious capitulation coming down to this level here. Okay, but in any case, now that we've now that we've sort of clarified that we are in a bearish trend, what can we say about this recent move? Well, the volume doesn't look too impressive over here. I'm not sure if you can see it from this video, but in any case, the volume, yeah, on the weekly here doesn't look impressive, but on Binance it does. It looks like a nice bit of volume coming up on this weekly, and so I just think it's more likely than not that we will actually. I would say there's like a 35 to 45% chance that we actually come and sort of test some new levels here, like 9,000, not new levels, of course, previous levels, like maybe 8,900, 9,000. I mean, we did have a bounce from 9,100 here, came down, came back and tested it, moved up. So if there was any one level I'd be looking at, it would be 9,000. But I do want us to break out of this potential resistance coming down here. If this were a channel, I just drew another hypothetical line over here. And yeah, and also I want to break out 10,500 until we get to 9K, 10K, 10.5K. There's really nothing the bulls can say about reversing the trend. All we can say, of course, is that there is a lot of confluence at this zone for a bounce. Right, so otherwise, let's now zoom in a little bit to the daily. And here, of course, you can see very clearly that volume I was talking about. Only 5 days have passed, and we already have almost surpassed the previous bearish volume. All right, so now, and here you can also see clearly that the daily, it is slowing down a little bit. This day has 3 hours left to go, so yeah, the volume is definitely slowing down a little bit. The daily now is coming to touch on, I'm going to take this out because it's a little bit annoying to have so much stuff in here. On here, the daily, you can see that we had resistance over here. We came back down, tested it, found support, and this is now a new resistance, more clearly visible on the 4 hour, from which we might come down to find support. It's yet to be seen. The daily, you know, the wick almost reached the 21. I do think that the 21 is going to provide some potential resistance. This line, of course, is the previous dump here, and it's psychological, 8,000 psychological. So ideally, I'd like to wait until 8,000 psychological to sell, because I actually haven't taken any profit on the position. Like, I did take some profit, but then I bought back after we crossed 7,400. I bought back after we crossed 7,550 actually, because I wanted to have like a good risk to reward for taking profits on my positions. In other words, I sold, and then I wanted to be able to buy back lower, and if it went up just a little bit above my sell level, then I would buy back. And that's what I've done. So now I have a nice, healthy, large position still from pretty much the absolute bottom. It's amazing how lucky I was. I mean, of course, there was analysis as well, but you have to consider the fact that there's luck in there as well. Now we have the confluence of these two lines. You know what? I'll keep this in, but I just want to make it a little bit vaguer so that we can see what the hell is going on in this chart, because I don't like to have too many lines all over the place here. So actually, let's go back to the daily and just have a look at the EMAs as well, or rather, these are the, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the EMAs now, right? So the EMAs, we're just touching on the 21. But the moving averages, yeah, we're still a little bit away, and the moving average has us up at 8,000. You know, touching the 21 is a very common thing to do, even in a bear trend. I mean, if we go, for example, well, that wasn't really a confirmed, well, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, look, here we had consolidated a bunch, and then we came down. What happened? We came down, we touched the 21, you know, it moved up, okay? And let's have a look at, of course, the major move down from here. Here we came down, consolidated. Here was pretty brutal, you have to admit, actually. We didn't touch the 21 for a while. Here, of course, we did, moved up from it, came down below it, resisted it, moved up from it, and then pretty much the rest was history in terms of moving up. So, you know, it is possible that we just barely touch it or don't even come up to it and come down again. But all things being equal, we can expect the 21 to touch before having another move down if we do. And what I'm wondering is, you know, when will this daily move finish? You know, the 4 hour trend is clearly bullish. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and I think we have a new higher high above it. So I'm definitely seeing 8,000 as a potential resistance. Here, higher high, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So we have a nice, clear bullish uptrend, and I've tried to, you know, I mean, you can draw your resistance wherever you want, really. I'm not loving any of these resistance, either this one or this one. This one just seems very steep, and this one doesn't touch very clearly on either of these lines. So, you know, it really doesn't matter how you draw it. But the point is that we're coming up in this. I mean, it is an up. It's a wedge, which is moving upwards, and this, of course, you know, in a bear trend, this is classified as a pullback structure where we have a move down, pull back, and then we have another big move down. So I'm a little bit concerned that, you know, we are reaching potential new highs here. And I think I'm trying to stay rational about where and when I take profit. On the one hand, you know, there's so little information, too little information here for me to establish that we are going to move down or up. I'm pretty 50-50 about whether we go up to test 8,000 or whether we come down and test some previous lows here. But the support zone I'm looking at is certainly this blue line, which is highlighted a bit more thickly, and then that one as well, right? Like I wouldn't be thrilled about seeing that break, but really I don't want to see us go below this, right? And that's quite a big dump from there, you know. I would be risking, if I really want to, you know, take the bigger risk, I would be risking, you know, 5% of the position here. So I'm not too thrilled about that. And it just seems like the 4-hour has these nice big volume pumps. The bears are struggling to compare in terms of their volume. And we have a nice volume profile over here, I forgot. But in any case, I'm going to take this line out now because, well, if it actually really would be the bottom over here. You can see this on the daily, and more. This would be the daily low. Because this is one big move up. So, you know, I'm expecting a 4-hour trend change where it sort of consolidates a bit for a daily higher low. And the question is just, why do we have so many lines here? The question is just when that will happen, you know, and I'm getting a little bit anxious, to be perfectly honest, which is not ideal for a trader, but there you go. That's the truth. Getting a little bit anxious about where to take profit. Now, I'm going to take this out as well because it's just way too many stupid lines here. Now, if we do our fib structure, I'm also going to take some moving averages out. Well, I mean, we can have a quick look at the moving averages. Yeah, we're touching on the 100 here on the 4-hourly, on the 4 hours. So, you know, good chance that we do start bouncing, that we find a daily higher low at some point here. In other words, that the daily starts coming down. If we look at the fib structure of here to here, we can see the 5 is there. The 382 has been surpassed quite nicely here with a nice volume pump. So really the next major resistance is up at the 582. And it also is this previous bounce point, and it's also 8,000. So this is the line I'm really looking at. And of course, I already do have some profit taking up here. And I'm just wondering now, should I... Well, okay, let's look at this quite simply now. So we have our blue line here, our red line there. And let's say if we were to short here, which is essentially what we're doing, we're taking profit. This is the point where I think we'll next see a big resistance. This is the point where I think we'll next see a big support. And you see it's this annoying 1.3 to 1. Yeah, and you know, if I were to sell here, I'd be interested in buying, maybe not on the 4-hour, but maybe, yeah, maybe I'd also want to buy over here, 7,500. Why is there another red line here? I do not understand. Oops. And this is just a ridiculous number of lines on this chart. Right. So, you know, and the other thing I'm looking at, of course, is if we do correct from here, you know, we could very easily come down to the 618, down at 7,000. And so if we correct from here, you know, we could come down a long way before we say, okay, well, the chances of this reversal failing are low. So it's really got me itching a little bit, and I think it's important to keep looking at the longer time frames. And let's have a look at, yeah, the daily. We're just below the moving averages like crazy. So I think that all things being equal, we're more than likely to see a move towards 8,000 before we come lower. And so I'm not thrilled about this, about taking profit here. I would rather take, stay in the position and maybe have a stop loss over here. But even that, like, just not thrilled about it because I'm making the assumption that we are going to make a move up here. And maybe that's the wrong thing to do because I know I'm going back and forth here. But really, this is the important thing to do, is to make sure that I don't have any biases. And I think my gut feeling tells me that the safe thing to do is to take profit here, and that this will kill my anxiety, will remove my anxiety, so that I don't have to worry too much, and then maybe take more profit here, and then hopefully come back, buy back on the daily pullback. And I think that's probably the smartest thing to do, because then I don't have to be worried. Because as it comes down, like I don't, I could stop out over here, but this is kind of the point where we'll find a daily higher low potentially. Now it is likely that if we break this, that we'll come down to about maybe 7,000. But even that, you see, it's just a small gap here. That's why I'd rather sell here and then buy here than sell here and buy here. So if we can see anything on the smaller time frames, of course, yeah, here we have this previous high. Now we might come down and find support here. So we have a sort of inside bar forming there. Let's see the 4-hour EMAs. Yeah, we might find. I think we might come down again. Before I bought on the move coming down to the 21 EMA. And I like the idea of selling here and maybe buying back here and then stop lossing out here. That's actually not a bad idea. But the other problem is that on the smaller time frames, on the 4-hour, we're moving up very nicely. The RSI has nice higher highs. The MACD, the MACD is not looking too sexy, is it? I didn't notice that. Yeah, the MACD is seeing lower highs on the ticking here. So it's getting a little bit iffy on the MACD. Still in a very clearly bullish trend, though. The 1-hour, we've seen quite a big dip here in the RSI, so losing some steam. The MACD is, we're seeing lower highs over here. From here to here to here. So yeah, potentially losing some steam. We did come to test this resistance over here that I was talking about prior. I feel like if we do break here, we might see another move there and then come down. I think the safe thing again to do is just to take profit here on the position. It's a healthy 8. I think it's like 19%. 6.5. I got an average of 6.580. To here, it's 17.6%. And then just look for a daily. Yeah, you know what? This is how I'm going to rationalize it. I'm choosing to rationalize it. Rationality should be pretty there, either there or not there, but I'm choosing somehow. But yeah, no, listen, this is what I'm doing. Even if the daily keeps on pumping up all the way over there, very likely I'll have the opportunity to buy back at approximately at the level which I'm at now. So I think that I'm going to be in sell mode now, taking profit here, taking profit at 8,000, then taking profit at 8,600, and then even if in this in this scenario that we get up to there, we can still expect to buy back at the 382 at 7,750, which will be clearly below this one, below that one. So what I'll do is I'll take about let's see, about 25% profit here, 25 there, 25 there. And maybe even take full profit on the position if we get up there. And then, yeah, so sort of controlled profit taking. And, honestly, I think it's safer to take something like 30 here. In fact, I'm going to write this down now. Since I've got this clear in my head, making these videos is fantastic because I really can express my thoughts. So take profit, take 100% of position profit from 7,730, whatever we are now, to 8,500. So 30% at 7,730, 30% at 8,000, and 40% at 8.5 approximately, right? I might take some on the way up there, but this keeps me safe. And honestly, I would like to make this more like 35 so that I'm safe now. In other words, if we come crashing down, I know I have like a solid profit on the position. We can come all the way down here, and I'll still be doing just fine. And because I think we're somewhat more likely to come to 8,000, I'll be able to take more profit there. Then I'll be very comfortable. And then even if I get taken out of my whole position up at 8,500, I will still be able to buy back on the pullback of the daily, which is eventually going to happen. And of course, if it doesn't happen, in other words, if I don't get the opportunity to buy back on the pullback, in other words, if we just smash through the 618 and go mental up here, then I will wait for, I will wait. That's actually good that I'm thinking about this now. Then I will wait for a break of 8500 and try and buy the break of that. So if we cross sort of, and this is assuming that we just keep on moving up here like crazy without any pullback, I would probably be buying at a break of about 10,500, honestly. Like, I don't think anything below that, and even there, like, it would be insane for the daily to just go bap, 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 and then to come up to this 10,500 and not pull back. But if we break this, I'd be looking to either buy, depending on the RSI, right? Like, if the RSI on the daily is just insane, or the 4 hours insane, then I'm going to take it easy, chill, and buy back on the pullback. I mean, here, for example, on this break, it's a good example that I'm looking at here, because I remember I didn't get in early enough on this break. I was waiting for the 4 hour to chill out, the 4 hour RSI to chill out. But here, that we had a big move up. We came down again. This, of course, was the point to buy already at 66, right? So if we have another scenario like that where we just go insane when the daily go up to like 90 RSI, then I'm going to be looking to buy back when we come down to touch the 60 RSI. So yeah, I might miss a big move up because I'm selling a lot of the position now, but I think that's just the safest thing to do. Just makes the most sense, and then I can also buy back on the next move up, and because it's just an insane profit that I have now. My risk to reward was, when I first entered this position, my rationale was, okay, I'm taking a really tight stop loss over here. It was literally like 3%. I wanted, and then I was like, we can come at least to this level, and that's what I've reached now. So I think it's important to take a certain profit here, even if the lower time frames are suggesting that we are quite bullish. And the other thing which I'm going to do actually is, out of this 35% position that what I'm taking now, I am going to take some profit here, and of that 35, I think I'll take about 15% here, and I'll stop loss out of 20% if we break the daily moving averages over here. So I'm going to say, if we have a break of the previous, what was it, 7363. Yeah, no, I'll take 20% there, and then if we break this, the 7,400, then I'm going to, don't really like this level because there's so many sort of notable levels here. Like, if we break this, doesn't mean much. We can very easily just bounce from the sort of middle of this box range here that we had. You know what? I think I might just, do we have a higher high on here on the hourly? We have high, higher low, higher high, temporary break. But let's just look at the candle closes. High, 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 higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I'm gonna just say a break of this level. I'm gonna stop out at 7665. Just give the hourly a chance to just keep on pumping. This will be a break at the 21. We break this previous structure. Let's just make it a bit safer. Make it down at the 76. 76. So much art to trading. 7620. Will be a stop loss. So 15% here. Let's move out again. Of course, this video really relates to my personal trade, which is normal because no one's watching these videos anyway. It's pretty hilarious. I'm just talking to myself. Okay, so 15% now at 20% break of 7620, 30% at 8,000, 40%. Yeah, I might even take it a bit easy on these, to be honest. I might actually just make this sort of 25, 35, that type of thing, because that would be a total of 15 plus 20 plus 25, 35. It's equal to 45, and 5 is 50, 80, 95. So that only gives me 5% left. This is sort of the safety net, so that if we break down, so really this would have to be 20, except 90. This is 30, makes that 85. So we take 85% of the trade position profit and keep 15% on the chance that I'm wrong, that we just keep on going up like crazy, and we don't see a daily correction at that point. Okay, so that's my plan, and we'll see how things go. Okay, that's it for me.